All employees of all companies that are members of a control group must be treated as employed by a single employer for purposes of qualification rules under the IRC. This affects discrimination testing, service requirements, and distribution provisions. And as a result, it's very important to recognize when a plan sponsor is a member of a control group and to properly administer the plan accordingly. This module introduces the various aspects and types of control groups under the code. And here are three main types of control groups. The first is what's called a parent subsidiary group, and we'll talk about that more. Each of these in a minute. Brother sister control group is number 2. An affiliated service group is number 3. Whether or not a control group exists is determined by ownership. In other words, in a corporation, a control group is determined by the combined voting power of all classes of outstanding stock and all total value of all classes of outstanding stock. In a partnership, it's determined by profit interest and capital interest. Something called attribution rules apply to control groups. And attribution simply means adding up of individuals or entities here, and there are 3 entities subject to attribution rules. The first one is family, and that includes spouses of the owner, the individual who has the most ownership, minor children of owners, and adult family members of owners. They're all added together in terms of their stock as if they were one individual. Also, estates and trusts are subject to attribution rules that family holds in any other corporations, partnerships, and job proprietorship. A parent subsidiary control group is the next type of control group, and that exists if one or more chain of corporations trades or has business connected through stock ownership with a common parent. The parent must own 80% or more of a stock of a subsidiary company. The chain exists if the subsidiary, in turn, owns 80% or more of another company. The chain goes further if 2 80% owned subsidiaries each own a combined 80% or more of a fourth entity. So here's an example. All 4 entities of this example are members of the same control group. Entity X, and this is with family, estates, corporations, attribution applied, owns 80% of Y. X owns 100% of company Z, entity Z, and Y and Z. Each own 40% of Q. By definition, that is a parent subsidiary control group. A brother-sister control group exists if 5 or few common owners own a controlling interest and have effective control of a group of 2 or more entities. And a controlling interest means ownership of 80% or more of the stock of each corporation. And effective control means ownership of more than 50% of the stock of each corporation, but only to the extent that the individual stock ownership is identical with respect to such corporation. Common owners must be an individual, an estate, or trust, but not a corporation. Here's another example. X, Y, and Z form a brother-sister control group. John, Jane, Jim, and Jack own 80% or more of all 3 companies. Identical ownership is greater than 50%, and now we do not know or factor in Jan because she doesn't own any Y and Z. She's just a member of the X corporation.